Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reality Bites. This is our series finale, and I like to think of this in terms of series as British television understands it. Will there be another series of 6 episodes, 2 hours each? I would love that. Uh, Maybe next spooky season. But this has been our Vampire the Masquerade actual play set in Buffalo, New York in the 90s, the mid 90s, 95, the year everything was on sale. And it's been delightful. I've been fortunate to have a series of great shows. Last time I caught myself having a good deal of fun and had no idea that I sounded like, well, what I sounded like. Not going to stay mad about that. I've let it go, but it has to be acknowledged. Into every stream, a little tech wobbles must fall, like the rain that falls in Michigan and threatens every show in the Rockies and the Badlands. And the strange weather that we've had, we've managed to dodge it. We've been fortunate in more ways than we've been assaulted by technology. It was like Cyberpunk knew that it was on the fence, and it wanted to show up in spirit. So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. This will be our last episode of this. We'll talk a little bit more about what we got coming up. You won't have to wait long to get your Wednesday night gaming fix. We'll go over some of what that is going to look like afterwards. But first, I'm going to introduce this awesome cast. Let them introduce each other. We like to play a game of pick your victim after you go. We're, of course, going to start off with Arthur. First in, first out, something like that, right?
What's up, y'all? I'm Arthur. I am playing Jane in this misadventure. Our angry young punk Bruja. Uh, she found herself caught between a series of powerful people and has been looking for a way to flip the script. Um, may have found some kind of out, but we still have to head over to this Prince's Shindig, pirate-themed get-together with kindred and kind. And seems like there's a lot of subtext happening. In a vampire game of all places, what are the odds? So I look forward to seeing what twists and turns await us this evening. And I will pass it on to Miss Sandy Pants.
Howdy, y'all. I am Sandy. I'm going to be portraying our dear, darling newbie Barb, who's finally gotten the hang of the fact that she is, in fact, a vampire. She's drinking from the fire hose, learning a lot real quick, and sounds like things might be coming to a head this evening as we deal with some massive forces within the vampire community, within and without the masquerade. But it sounds like we've got some powerful allies behind us. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Beckett.
Hi, I'm Kelton. I will be playing Beckett, who is a reclusive Toreador. Doesn't want to do any of this crap, but kind of cares about these other idiots anyway, and has to deal with it. And really, really, an immortal being is throwing a fucking costume party. Well, here we go. And yeah, Beckett's going to deal with that. We learned a lot of secrets. It's going to be tense and crazy. And I can't wait. And my victim is Nick.
Hey, hi, I'm Nick or Unichronic. I'm playing Teddy Graves. He is a big gay bear of a gangrel, and he's just found out some heavy shit about his grandsire who he didn't get to meet, and the prince, and we're basically walking into, I don't know, a beehive right now, with everything that's going on, like politically and stuff. So it should be an interesting session. He just wants to find and protect his found family. But anyway, and here he is doing this. So
Okay. Well, I'd like to do one more go round And this time, we don't have a banter topic. This is a finale. So I would like to hear your characters' highs and lows for the Chronicle so far. And cheers, Arthur, for remarkably similar looking beverage.
Cheers. Start with me again. Yeah, might as well. Jane is a loner and has been making do in her 10 years of unlife, pretty much on her own, making it happen. But she had her low pretty early on in our series here, when the professor who she was working with suddenly turned on her and turned out to be a nutter and embezzling a bunch of money and manipulating Jane to both help her and take the blame for when that money actually disappeared. Lots of threats. That was a pretty low point for Jane. Her life, such as it is, was really starting to come together in a way that it hadn't before, and she kind of saw a path forward of how she might have a satisfying existence, and that seemed like it was being snatched out from under her. And the more she carried on, the more that seemed likely, and that the world was a cold and uncaring place. And then in her scramblings, managed to find this community of reprobates, even amongst the horror that is vampire society. People who seem to actually be trying to do some good in the world. And she felt a lot less alone, and that was her high. Yeah, probably the moment in the venue of the not the obelisk, the oubliette.
Oubliette.
Other way.
The oubliette. Yeah. Yeah.
Concave,
Yeah.
not convex.
Any not
At the show in the oubliette, when she finally realized not only were these freaks vampires, but they were still people and on her side even, and that there might be a way out of it. So, yeah. Sandy Pants, same question.
Yeah, let's get after it. Highs and lows for Barb's. I think the low, kind of like with Jane, happened really early. After she was turned by Dr. Richards, and having this, I think we said it was maybe a week or two in game of disbelief that this change had happened, feeling alone, hiding from her family, her very very tight knit family. And feeling like she couldn't trust Dr. Richards after he had, it felt like a betrayal, kind of was a betrayal. So yeah, the loneliness in the beginning and disbelief of what was actually going on. Highs is gotta be Jane hopping in, making fun of my inability to operate a manual transmission vehicle. And then yeah, pulling up into this creepy weird record store. And there's more. Not only okay, I've accepted this, and maybe Dr. Burton Richards isn't the worst. And oh my God, there's all these people, vampires, like, oh, I'm not alone. This is so exciting. So yeah, that's definitely the highs and lows for Barb in the story thus far. And yeah, same game. We'll pass it on over to Kelton.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start with low because I think Beckett's low is everything that has happened to Beckett since the campaign started. I can't pick a specific thing because Beckett just wants to stay in the record store and be Beckett. So no, it's not the mafia douchebags coming in with the tracksuit. It's not learning that Luca's diablerizing motherfuckers and I actually have to deal with him now. It's just all of it. Like literally everything that has happened to Beckett since this campaign started is terrible, and Beckett hates it.
You're welcome.
And then yeah, Beckett's high is we're all kind of going the same route, and I'm sticking with that. I think Beckett had like a certain appreciation for Jane, and definitely like a weird kind of fondness for Teddy, but like Beckett's very insular. But there was something about that meeting where Beckett was like, "Oh, well, maybe I do have some people now, because who are people. Maybe I do have some other kindred that can be part of my world." Because for a very long time, as a weird insular Toreador, Beckett has not done that. He they care about humans and traffic with humans and don't have a lot of vampy friends, but they might now. So that was definitely Beckett's high, was that same scene in the Oubliette at the concert, especially like just like, Teddy, come with me. We got to deal with this. Like the everybody was kind of here for it and all on the same page very quickly. And I think that was surprising, and Beckett really appreciated it. Yeah. So Nick?
Teddy's low point is literally like right now, I think. Uh, for him personally, he feels like an animal backed to a corner. He's on edge. Like child and sire relationships can look like a lot of things, and his and Lobo's feel more like a couple night stand that kind of fell apart or something. There's this prince who's up to pretty nefarious seeming things. Like there's mortals around, so like masquerade question mark. Like it's a very cagey situation for him. However, I guess I don't know. I feel like Teddy's personal high, I guess he peaked early, because I'm gonna say it was confronting slash kind of befriending vampire mob capo. Um and I'm gonna he kind of just fearlessly did that because he saw something kind of dear to him, like being stepped upon, and I'm gonna try to like roll through with that same like I can do this confidence.
Okay. I like all that.
You're
I mean,
muted.
in all fairness, that did get the cool shit of the night award universally from everybody. I think like more than one night somehow. So yeah, solid high point for Teddy, because that was
Yeah.
absolute amazing badassery. And beautiful role play. Anyway, I bet.
Yeah,
Tom
my
found it.
script for the 90s movie of this stream, that's scene one. That is
Yes.
where this is where the film
We're
begins.
closing
Yeah.
the trailer. That's how we close the trailer.
Is that
Like,
whole
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I've always said we all benefit from good lighting and editing, and that is definitely where we would start the movie of this. My favorite moment is all of you in the speakeasy in the back of the Oubliette, between sets. I feel like y'all really came together. I think that when the cast are shown in these vignettes, but they're accelerating towards a meeting, that meeting in some depictions of fiction can be, oh, it's inevitable. Oh, you're checking the boxes. Oh, it's now we go through the motions. But that didn't feel like that at all. It feels like it collided like a particle accelerator, and they became a new element together. And to say y'all meet in a bar is an old trope in Sword and Sorcery, D&D, of course. And it's accepted and forgiven. I didn't know how you were all going to meet, because even though I also say we all own half the map in a given campaign, everybody owns half the map. It's greater than the sum of its parts. I didn't know how you were going to meet, but I like that in the end, it felt like the heart of a show, a heart of a movie. you know, the emotional scene, everything was bathed in that surely not full of arsenic wallpaper and and red lampshade glow. You know, it had that speakeasy bistro, old world, other world feel. I didn't have a low. My low was finding out that episode 5 had funky sound, but I'm here for it. And I like how the last episode ended. So, as the party came together at the prince's soiree, hiding in the models and artists affair for charity, if you remember the name of the charity, it was Friends of Night People, which is homeless shelters and rehabilitation programs. A little bit ironic since so many vampires engage in predation on the very people that charity has helped. But maybe the ruling primogen of the 80s, as the 90s are half over, maybe it's time for a changing of the guard. And it certainly felt like you might have backers for such a play in the existing community that support the prince openly, of course, and a faction that in the past 6 months, blink of an eye to the undead, have made it known that they do not stand with the prince and have become hermits. There's been an outreach there. And under the auspices of some rather tacky themes, the prince and entourage are dressed as pirates of various stripes from pop culture, spanning in quality from plastic eye patch and plastic cutlass all the way to full crushed velvet stepping off the bottle of your favorite brand of rum. Not mine. But anyway, you are to be shown to him in his role as pirate captain. And you show up as you do, several of you making minor, if any, some efforts, but Beckett showing up skewered with a cutlass. And even though it is an authentic Union soldier cavalry saber, I should say, not cutlass, it looks the pirate part with its small hilt basket and the fact that it is stuck through you. People, of course, think that this is some sort of prop. It is a power play to show up more pirate than the prince. It's like showing up wearing white at a wedding, but wearing it better.
That
And
sounds like Beckett. That absolutely sounds like Beckett.
it's a power
Showing
play.
up in the most amazing
But-
gown one has ever seen to someone
It's not a
else's
gown
wedding.
though, because also wrapped in a literal fishnet and seaweed and literally looking and smelling like a corpse that was drug out of the ocean. I'm the the fallout of piracy.
Look what the Cat of Nine dragged in. Okay, not my best. It's at this moment that people are making ready and taking their seats. The kindred are ushered into the wings. It's not really a backstage. There's just sort of a side millabout, and behind the trellis where well-curated rose vines do grow up and provide some concealment, where you have all the cover from the road that can afford you a quick indulgence of whatever you're trying to hide from prying eyes. And beyond, so the view the participants on this makeshift stage of the Rose Garden dais will have is the moonlight dappled neoclassical columns of the Albright Knox Art Gallery rear. Go ahead and share this out so the audience can see what we're talking about there. So this is what the players in the play see. And there's some pulleys, little cranes overhead. It's doing its best. I mean, after all, it's actors, and there's definitely participants in the auxiliary of the gallery that that basically the prince has a lot of staff, a lot of people. And I believe you were hanging out with Mona, who you just met, and find out she's a Bruges mom type, and probably and said she considered your sire Jane a sister, probably indicating to you that they had the same sire. So again, the lack of grandsires, perhaps under mysterious circumstances. You met Gavin, another Bruges, and he's of your generation, and he says to you, as you're basically falling into a queue, he says to you, Jane, we have the same sire. It's not a secret, but I thought you should know.
It's news to me, says Jane.
Well, only one of us gets to stay in the city by the custom. And he kind of smiles impishly. He's powerfully built, close-cropped blonde hair. Does not look like the times. Looks to be wearing perhaps the 80s revival rockabilly 50s vibe. Like maybe he was made in the 80s, but his look was kind of rockabilly is the vibe you're getting. Although he has toned it down to a burgundy t-shirt, motorcycle jacket, motorcycle pants, tanker boots.
Jane is in her normal getup. Torn fishnets and combat boots, plaid skirt, battle jacket. But she is wearing a realistic and gigantic black pirate's beard that hangs down to like her waist and has ornately curled mustache and ringlets all the way down, just the giant thing. And she's still got her humongous big gulp with her as usual. Full normal situation, plus the pirate's beard. Yeah, I feel like there's probably bones and stuff like woven into it. Yeah.
Now I believe Beckett had access to human hair wigs for your use and perusal too. So this is a fine costume. It's really just a pirate's beard, but it works for you. It's punk rock, therefore the most Bruges thing to show up when
It's
tasked
very Jane.
is just a beard.
Jane listens to this guy and sees a twinkle in his eye and says, I never really was one to follow tradition.
After tonight, we won't have to follow. He looks over where the prince is giving a speech to a small entourage of mortals. And the way they're taking turns fawning and leaning in and sharing quick embraces informs you of his style. Everyone may make a, let's say, wits plus awareness or wits plus occult. Oh, it's not supposed to be set at 4. It's supposed to be set at 3. My bad. Good Lord. So far, everybody's successful.
Wits plus awareness.
Yeah.
A pile of dice.
And Jane was critically successful. Barb, you don't pick up on this, and that makes sense. You're like, all right. Well,
Yeah, she's pretty clueless.
You did hear something about it when you all were at the speakeasy behind the oubliette. in the back of the oubliette, you did hear something about there being different clans, and that made you feel like you were a part of a bigger community. And you remember hearing something about different. Were they talking about feeding styles? You don't know, but you've been trying to figure that out. The prince is a seductor, a vamp of vamps. They seduce their victims.
Hmm.
You got that impression. And Beckett, this is something you already knew, and 3 was enough to recognize it if you didn't. But I'll say that in doing so, it looks like the prince has been very busy lately because you don't recognize any of these people.
And I don't recognize any of what?
Any of his current crop of lovers.
Okay. Okay.
The prince breaks away from them and approaches the line where y'all are queuing up and goes, as is the custom, the privileged kindred will be afforded the opportunity to be presented. Those without sires, you may present yourselves, although it is better for the primogen that wait in the wings. You are to be presented by someone who will vouch for you. And Lucas shifts his gaze overtly over to Beckett.
I vouch for them.
Good. Those that aren't fully costumed for this, there's some theatricality to this. We're doing this under the watchful eye of mortals who will not understand it. And that makes it, well, that makes it art.
Does it?
There are props available for those that aren't quite so formidably costumed.
Hmm.
Is that the soldiers? They dug that up near the big rock in the park. I thought I caught a whiff of Aloysius. You don't know anything about that, do you?
I do not.
I'm gonna need you to lie with dice too.
And Beckett is going to throw in there. I have dealings with Von Tassel. Sometimes.
Customs found 2 8-balls in his sock bag.
Convenient.
He can
Okay.
be retrieved easily with but a phone call. I'll do that afterwards. That's the least I could do for you. Ignore that this is an open roll. You got 2. I was just gonna have him roll against what you got.
How is that even? So many dice!
So many
Jesus.
dice. Oh. And as he glances up, you see this bit of it's blood, but it's not blood that it almost looks like a wine stain on the lips of a mortal. But it looks like he's been perhaps sipping some more concentrated vitae.
Yeah. And do I know I'm made in this scenario?
He is under the benefits of some thaumaturgy, which tells you 2 things.
Mhm.
One, he probably knows that Aloysius is hiding amongst the mortals in this gathering. And 2, not all of Aloysius's Tremere are fully loyal to Aloysius, and one of them has gotten him something that has helped him crack your lie.
Mhm. Well, in that case, Beckett's just going to be like, it looks like you've been eating well. Shall we continue?
Yes, I don't want to work up an appetite.
Hmm.
And he walks between 2 people waiting as production assistants on either end of the stage. And lingers his hands at the small of their back, at the cleft, for just a moment too long before going in. Begins speaking to the mortals, and while he's speaking, the camera fades back so that he's just off-camera voiceover, while Gavin looks a little. Does he know? And he looks at Jane. Mona says, "Sweetie, you need to settle down. You're going to give it all away. Relax, relax." And he seems soothed by Mona. She's got that Bruja mom energy. And she looks over at Barbara and says, "Honey, you're going to want to pay attention. We're made most recently, so you'll be presented first." And I was, "Well, I'll be. It's here." And she holds you and points out in the audience, and you see Dr. Burton Richards in lab coat with stethoscope and felt paper tricorn hat at a rakish angle.
Bunny slippers and pajamas,
You
or do
can't-
you put trousers on for this?
You can't see his
Can't
feet.
tell from
You
here.
can't see his feet. You just see the scrub top and the lab coat
And the hat.
and the hat. The hat's new. It looks like it may have come from the rec center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the patients made it, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he,
and
he had them
crafts.
all. He had them all. And he had to crafts.
yeah.
And
Or it
picked
was
the
just
best
something
one.
he found, like it was
With the
crumpled in
best
an
one.
art bin somewhere.
It's not bad. It's not bad. They look like they may have incorporated a Beanie Baby.
Oh, 1995. God bless you.
We gotta throw it. We only got a couple left, you know.
Well, that's my favorite moment of the night.
Wow, really that?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Dr.
So good.
Burton Richards with a Beanie Baby in his crafted hat.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's perfect.
It's like a parrot
It's on.
Beanie Baby.
It's Polly.
on point.
Yeah, it's Polly the
Oh,
parrot.
there you go.
Yeah,
I don't know a name of a single Beanie Baby.
and he's making his way around, seeing that he's been seen from the wings, and with the casting of his head in that direction, you know that Luca the prince has seen him, and you know that Luca the prince wanted you to see him seeing him. He's a ham. He's a hack. He's not even a good actor.
That's why it's good.
Wait, Luca or Dr. Richards?
Oh no, Dr. Burton
Is not a
Richards.
good actor.
No, Dr. Burton Richards isn't acting. He's just trying to make his way back.
Yeah,
But
he's just being himself.
and he says, "Barbara, I'm sorry I'm late. It is my job to present you. I was distracted. I knew something about Pirates the Hat. Do you like it?"
Yes, Doctor. I think it's perfect. I don't think we're in too much trouble yet, because we haven't gotten to the presentation part.
Esme made it. She's come a long way from lumpy ashtrays.
It's lovely.
There's no paperwork, but I say this in front of Mona. Oh, honey, here we go. It's not like a will, but would you take care of her if this doesn't go well for me?
I'll do my best.
She's a ghoul. He's saying, will you feed her after he's gone if the prince decides to right in front of everybody?
Oh, okay.
See? Is that so
Yeah.
hard? And you went to school for this stuff, talking to people through their problems, communicating with those that are hard. Go on. And she has the kind of energy that just ushers Dr. Burton Richards to like go, "Oh, yeah, okay." And he goes up, and the prince has somehow shifted into his role as pirate captain and goes, "Have you brought me sturdy hands before the sail?" Dr. Burton Richards says, "Yes, I offer you for the piece of," and he looks in the audience and sees his inspiration, says, "for the peaceful settling of Port Morgan, I ask that you, and he motions to you, look, come on, that you accept my child as payment, and as I present my child to you. Oh, that's better. That's better. Have you ever sailed before? And as he leans in, you see the madness in his eyes, all the audience reflected in his eyes. He looks, the prince leans in. You can tell that he's taking your measure. His eyes light up in a way that draws in more than the light around them. And you feel that maybe it's time you looked at the prince in this same way, almost as if seeing this power manifest in him is causing it to manifest in you. So would you please make me an intelligence plus awareness, but add a couple right clicks for your auspex. So add 2 for your auspex into there. Don't worry about that. I should have rolled it secretly. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. He's fed recently. You can tell that, and his aura is playful, but there's a somewhat dark trickster nature in there. Maybe that's what it takes to rule. You don't know. It's the first time you've been this close to the prince, and the ringlets of his absurd wig and the preponderously large hat tend to shadow you as soon as he leans in, shielding you from the stage lights. I accept you as a member of my crew. You are motioned to sit on a little bench over on one side of the set.
Barb kind of awkwardly curtsies. I think she's got like the puffiest, like puffy shirt from Seinfeld, like,
She wanted to
Right.
be a pirate.
and like a reasonable costume, tricorn hat, and her hair just like in a tight little like a French braid, right? As though she were actually going to be at sea. Want to keep that all tidy. And like absolutely like a costume, sword and a scabbard, and she kind of awkwardly curtsies and sits.
Do any others wish to be brought forth at this time while under the auspices of a good-natured parley? And vampires of the Primogen Council and everyone around know that he's not. That's what the sleepers. I'm sorry, I'm wrong game. That's what the mortals hear. But it's not what the kindred hear. Kindred here during this time. This is your one chance to present any newly made vampires to me, lest you face my wrath should you conceal it. And from the audience, Teddy, just as you're about to, from the audience, you hear Lobo say, I do. And the crowd thinks this is part of the show, part of the act. And Lobo approaches, climbs up on. Permission to come aboard. Granted. The prince is playing along, but darts his eyes to the left and right, seeing who he's got loyal in the wings should this go sideways. Gavin steps up as if he's assumed the role of the prince's muscle before, but puts his hand for just a moment on Jane's upper arm near the shoulder and goes, basically saying, this is an act. Then you remember as he steps up that Gavin's not a good actor. Gavin doesn't think he is, so he just steps up. Teddy says, I confess I have stolen from you, Prince of Pirates. I have stolen the opportunity to do this right. He motions for Teddy to approach.
Teddy steps out on the stage. He's wearing like the equivalent of like Renaissance fair quality, a sleeveless white, like cream, like off-white, like tunic with the like lace up right here, and like some breeches and some soft leather shoes. He has a bag as well, a leather bag, um, like a messenger size bag, and he has a couple bows tied in his beard. He also has a belaying pin that he's crafted, like on a thing on his belt.
This is what we ended last session with, you on the lathe. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a belaying pin. I read you.
And he steps out onto the stage. Lobo dressed up tonight too.
Lobo doesn't look all that pirate. Lobo didn't dress up.
Okay.
Lobo looks like maybe it took some time. You're not sure. You're not sure.
Yeah, Teddy steps up, kind of flashes a glance at Lobo and then looks to Luca.
Lobo notices your attire, hops the eyebrows for just a microsecond, micro emotion crosses, he approves. And seeing him in this light, the harsh glare, the contrast, you're like, yeah, that's how he looked that night. You don't know if you're still mad at him, but he's dressed in his, well, kind of like a truck driver. He actually has a styrofoam mesh hat that says Peterbilt on it. Flannel, deep green flannel, over an A-frame A-shirt, so a tank top, buttoned and tucked in, but slightly stone-washed jeans, and a pair of 14i black Doc Martens. Good that you're all here. I approve of your presence. And I'm gonna be a little bit shady.
So am I. If you don't mind.
Oh, no. I just want to get a quick perception from Teddy at this proximity, and then we'll go with that. So,
Yeah,
Teddy, go ahead.
Awareness or insight?
I'm gonna say that for this, it's awareness, or let's go with awareness. There's gonna be a lot of awareness early on, and I'll say either wits or intelligence for you on this one.
And does my instinct come into this?
Tell me about your instinct again.
It was suggested specialty for awareness was instincts.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, throw that at it. Very good. As Lobo holds the rope up that lets you go to the little bench where Barbara is now sitting, you see that he's wearing like a bomber jacket over the flannel, and you see in the bomber jacket the weathered wooden grip of a small shotgun. So a little sawed-off double barrel Lobo is packing. What you might call a coach gun or an under-the-seat gun. All right, Beckett?
I guess this is a check, that I want Beckett to read this really bad performance, and try to read the crowd and get an idea of how they are reacting,
Okay.
kindred and mortals,
Uh,
because like Luca's fucking this up. Beckett thinks he's that might be quasi on purpose, and has some ideas in the works. But first, I need to know, how is the audience doing? Like, how close are we getting to fucking up the whole masquerade thing? Because this is sad. So yeah.
yeah, it's almost like all of his shortcomings are being
Mhm.
broadcast large right now across
Mhm.
both societies. Yeah. If you want to read the audience,
But weirdly, that may be fake because Beckett's, you know, Luca might just totally break the masquerade right now and do something, right?
Yeah,
Beckett
he's
is
looking a
preparing
little
for
unhinged
that.
over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the bad performance might be on purpose to some extent. Um, Yada yada. So what do you want me to do skill wise for that?
I'll tell you for free that there are mixed reactions throughout the crowd.
Mhm.
Um, so it could be awareness, but it could also be politics. I'll tell you what, you make a case for it, and I'll yay or nay.
Okay. Um, Let me think about this for a second. Well, I think I can. I mean, I don't think I have to make a case for wits. Um, right?
I mean, wits. No, that'd be fine. Yeah, of course.
That makes sense. And then, well, how about insight?
Perfect.
I'm social.
Okay, so you made it with a margin of one. Yeah,
Okay.
it's some people in the crowd are sort of politely laughing, acting like they get it, and some are looking a little more confused and talking
Like,
amongst themselves and talking to each other. It looks like you actually spot Aloysius in Aloysius's disguise,
mhm,
and Aloysius is not reacting as is his nature,
mhm. Yeah.
but he's also waiting at the edge of the crowd, looking left and right. You know that you kind of get the feeling that the thaumaturgists are on a circle around the event, of course.
Yep. Yeah.
And it looks like, yeah, there's definitely some mortals that are like, what the hell is all this? Like they're not getting the play, what it has to do with piracy.
Right. Because it's not working.
Right. But there's been a good deal of drinking. There was some pre-gaming for
Mhm.
a lot of the people before they came here because they come from another event about a mile and a half away to this one. They come from the gallery to here. So that seems to be helping, but yeah, no, your concerns are valid and he is in danger. And as he says his next bit, do you have any other questions before we go? Because I'll give you one more if you got a specific bit that you're looking for.
Only if Beckett before, like, Jane has not been presented either, right?
Right.
So that's going to happen. So Beckett, like, uh, all of this has happened for like, quite a while. Beckett's definitely going to say something to Jane before Jane gets presented.
Okay.
So we can do that now, or we can do that at whatever, you know.
Um, I mean, you could say what you're. I mean, go for it.
Um, yeah, as this is going on, you know, Beckett will have, move through the crowd and be next to Jane for a second. And, not look at them, just sort of like watch what's happening, and say, I fear this might be a bad charade on purpose. Here's an idea. Let's make it a better charade. If they're thinking of breaking the masquerade. Let's make the play more convincing. If nothing else, it will bother Luca, but perhaps it will slow things down or derail the progress. Look at those people. They have no idea what's going on. This is not a convincing pirate show for mortals. This is something else. What do you say?
Roger that, says Jane. uh, what's the play, old man?
The play is be a good pirate. Let's try to make Luca look like a better pirate. I'm not sure that he's a terrible actor, but I think he may be being extra terrible.
Hmm. So play along better than he is what you're
Play
saying.
along. Make him better if you can, and I will do the same. I think he may be waiting for the mortals in this crowd to stop believing what is going on and break the masquerade altogether. He has diablerized other vampires, after all, and has no respect for the masquerade, which would not be good for any of us at all. So let's fuck with him.
Can do, Cindy Lou.
Delightful.
Mona steps up and goes, I can't present you. I'm sorry. Old customs and all. You can. That whole vouchsafe thing. It's talking about you, Beckett. And can I just say something? It is good to see you. It has been too long.
Yes, it has been a
I
while.
know. I've got all the charm of steel wool. But, maybe it's time to clean some pots and pans, eh?
Is that a coded message from Mona?
It's as coded as she can do. She's the Bruges
Yeah.
mom that she's sweet, she's kind, she can punch
She's
a
ready
hole.
to clean some house.
She can rip a station wagon door off.
Mm-hmm.
She's very, very strong, as you recall.
Yeah. Yeah. And Beckett will be, that's perfect. We're going to play pirate for a moment, see if we can't calm the peasants down a bit. And if not,
This is the last chance for anyone who might have plunder, booty they wish to share with me before we set sail for more secluded waters. Luca is doing his best.
mhm.
I think that's my cue.
Mhm. So I'm presenting you, so I think it's my cue. So I am a corpse, so Beckett must,
A corpse
they must
with
play the corpse.
with a
So-
sword sticking out of their gut.
Yep, just right through there. We'll lead Jane up with a sort of like apathetic kind of limp hand. For you are slain by the dread pirate Jane. And now to you, Captain, I present this more than capable soldier.
Jane is not really dressed to play this serious, and I'm not sure how well Sirius would play, but I think we can improve the whole play by leaning into the camp of it all.
Oh yeah.
Best you can
So-
hope for is Shakespeare, and it's
Jane
often
is-
campy.
Jane is gonna go a little more towards Gilbert and Sullivan
Hell yes.
/ Captain Hook, right? And as she's approaching the stage on the heels of this far too realistic sea corpse, she will mime a stumble up the stairs and flail all over the place, wherein she then dislodges her beard so that it actually covers her whole face, like pops up so it's in front of her eyes as she kind of like stumbles and flops down onto the stage in front of the captain, and then pops up with a comedic salute aimed at whoever's standing next to him, and she says, "Able seaman Dane Lane presenting for Captain Sexybeard," she says, and gives a big salute to the guy standing next to Luca with her beard over her face.
First, the audience gasped when Beckett stepped into the light. They gasped, and there was some of that excitement where you can tell that something is winning over a crowd. And the timing
And
was oh, go ahead.
I don't know if we need to make checks, but the goal is to make the audience believe that this is an actual performance
at a
where they
performance,
like hired actors or something and are doing this campy pirate thing. Beckett just
It's
happens
not
to
a
be a
bunch
good
of
actor because
vampires.
Beckett cannot.
It's to get them
do
on
camp,
board in any
but-
way possible. Right. Well, Beckett
Yeah.
can be the straight man. Beckett can very
Exactly.
clearly be the straight man in this performance. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't need roles because y'all backed each other's play. I'm totally good with saying your goal was to make Luca look competent in front of those that care and those that don't, and you did. And to sell this as a more believable encounter.
Community
a more believable
theater.
community theater, yes.
Yeah.
And it starts to work. Other players take the stage, mortals, and begin giving speeches that stitches up what script there was. And you get the strong impression that part is over. And Luca is beginning to walk through the back of the Rose Garden. And some people are beginning to follow, but Luca is politely saying, "This is more for my older friends, my oldest friends, the ones I came to town with, you know." And Luca's hangers-on and lovers get the message and begin going back. And Mona goes, "Looks like we're taking a walk to the soccer field. Time for a little hooliganism, I think." And sure enough, the undead of Buffalo begin walking through Delaware Park, shedding mortals as they go. Dr. Burton Richards looking nervous to be taking every step further and further away from the asylum and going to the soccer field, which is it's a big flat spot on the top of a hill ringed in trees. If you're out on the soccer field when a lightning storm strikes, you have precious moments to run for the trees, and you might still be blinded when the lightning strikes and have to grip about in blind darkness to find the hands of your friends. Speaking from experience, that really happened there. That's where you're going. We had to vocally do a count because we were all
I'm glad you
blinded
got
from the
off the
lightning.
field because that could be bad.
Well, I'd been taunting the gods for a while. I stopped doing
Still
that.
glad you got off the field because that could still be bad.
Yeah.
You had been taunting the gods does not make me any less glad you got your dumbasses out that field.
I mean, metaphysically with the occult, I was, I make fun of Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures because I'm like, basically, I want to chest bump a ghost. I get it. I get the shtick. It's not my thing, but I kind of was that guy as a very young practitioner of the weird ways. But, I want to headbutt a ghost. Let's do this. Like, come get me. Let's amplify. Grounding. Yeah, I should do that more.
Come at me, bro.
Hey, universe, your mother. Like, it's not the best way to be, but that's when you're the aggressive seeker, I guess, the heat seeker.
Oh, those youthful, confident, stupid days. How I miss them.
As soon as the prince crosses the line onto the field proper, they turn and begin walking backwards, saying, "Now this is a more intimate gathering." Walking backwards as they go. I understand we have unannounced guests. I would hear your complaints at this time. It is the time for the airing of grievances, I believe. And they step into the center of the field. People are milling about, not ringing around, not gathering a circle around, not surrounding. But it's at that point that you realize Aloysius and certain dark shapes are on the edge of the field itself. Lobo says, "I accuse you, j'accuse, if you will, I accuse you of the darkest crime our kind has. You drank Ursula's heart's blood, and I have proof." At some point,
Oh.
Salvatore joined the entourage that was going and looks around at some party members at the coterie and at others. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that if anything, it would be shirts and skins.
Yeah.
Not stripes and plaids.
I want two things really fast. I wanted to be I don't know how uncomfortable it makes him, but I wanted to be very close to Luca.
Okay.
And I'm also curious how close Lobo is to Luca, but I wanted to be very close to Lucas if I could be.
Lobo is between
and-
you and Teddy, and not far from you, and you are uncomfortably close to Luca, less than 10 feet. Luca, along the way,
I wanted to
ditched-
try to talk to Luca a little bit on the way.
Okay.
Just
all right. Then we need to pump the brakes and back up a little, don't we?
I mean, well, I didn't want to stop the scene because it's not much. I just wanted
I do my
to
best.
like
No, go ahead.
ingratiate. Yeah, Beckett wants to ingratiate themselves to Luca a little bit. Because that scene was set really well. I didn't want to pump the brakes and interrupt anything, but Beckett wants to be as close to Luca as possible, and be like, nothing all that interesting. Just, well, Beckett has to be Beckett. That actually went well for your little camp costume party.
It was clumsy at times, but I'm glad we did this.
I think it was innovative. You've done a good job.
You could stand to
And
come to
that's
these.
not easy for me to say. So perhaps I'll be at the next one.
I would like that. I still have a phone call to make. See if I can't pull some strings to get your second favorite ghoul back here.
I'm curious about that. And I appreciate your assistance in that matter.
Now let's hear everybody out,
Yeah.
hold court, and we'll talk afterwards.
Excellent.
You know, it's time you presented somebody of your own. So whether he could tell you were lying about how good he did, did offer a boon in that he just gave you permission to make progeny, which you may or may not be interested in, but it's still a get, you know?
Mhm.
And he says, I want to point out that he gave his wig to one of his lovers who wore it with a giggle. He gave his jacket to another who took it in stride. But he's still wearing the 18th century pantaloons and the rapier is still on his hip. And you could only half see it under the coat, but now you see that he is definitely coming to this meeting armed. And you remember that he's not Olympic level, but he's a fairly skilled fencer. And now we switch back to the scene where Lobo has just accused him of drinking Ursula's heart's blood. And Luca responds with, such an accusation. You better have proof, or banishment will be the largest mercy I can show you.
Teddy reaches into his leather bag and pulls out the Vitae stained shirt.
And Aloysius steps forward and says, good kindred of Buffalo, I can verify whose blood is upon that shirt. When we were in the good graces of the prince and we met in 89, you were there. You were there. Salvatore, you were just a child. Salvatore goes pale. Because if anybody has creeped out Salvatore in the past, it's probably the Tremere. And Aloysius walks across the full length to midfield. And a realization is dawning on the prince's face. And a realization would dawn on the audience's face as you notice the shadowy forms of the other Tremere have moved to occupy the corners of the field.
Jane knows a kettling when she sees one. This one just happens to be a cult.
A small curved blade appears in Aloysius's hand as some of the fabric is drawn with the blade. Gangrel, with certainty, and I'm not nose blind from the gangrel that are here. Puts the knife away and says more softly so that not everyone can hear, and fine specimens they are, so that just Teddy and Lobo can hear. It would take several moons to fully verify this, but I am comfortable saying this belonged to Lobo Sire. And Salvatore surprises all of you by saying, "You son of a bitch! You're not supposed to do that. That's against the rules of the last guy. Nana told me all this. She's been a ghoul for long. All they had to do was show up for Sunday supper, and it was fine. She knew the whole time. She let me know she knew, but this, she told me all the ways, and this is not right. Oh, if my ghoul were here, What say you?"
Brings more meaning to gabagool.
Oh,
I apologize to my family and my friends for that.
oh. Oh, wow. See, if we were at a table, I would say something funny like, "I'm going to need you to move your car to in front of your house." But, I guess you get the Ghoul Shit of the Night award. That's so bad. A well-placed pun can shut it all down. That's great.
I apologize.
Don't. It was well crafted.
It was perfect. It was so it was meant to be, right? That's when you know a good pun is good. It's It's my beef with bad puns. When a good pun, it's just meant, the universe is meant for it to be right there because you cannot resist. You
There's-
can't help it.
There's no beef
That
in
was
there.
horrible and
It's just
beautiful.
pork fat and nitrates. Okay. So the mood is changing, and Gavin looks around, wondering how the play is going to go. Mona, somehow she lit a long dark cigarette. Nobody noticed that, but she's been smoking a more 120 the whole time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How drastically has the mood changed, and how close am I able to be?
Close enough that the mood
Beckett has been ingratiating themselves to Luca the whole time.
close enough that you
Like-
notice the way Luca's eyes are darting and the way that he's dropped his left shoulder back in his stance. He's thinking of going for his blade.
Do I know? Do I know where he's going to point that blade immediately,
Give me some kind
or
of
is it just a defensive?
some kind of insight. Sounds the right.
Yeah.
for that.
So let's do wits and insight,
I
right?
like that. Yeah,
Sound
that's
good?
perfect.
Ah.
He's going to draw and try to. It's not a triangular rapier. It is a bladed rapier. There is a cutting edge on it. It's. He might be going for Mona,
Hmm.
but I'll tell you what we're going for. We're gonna roll something
Initiative.
kind of like initiative. Now, initiative works a little different in this, in that it's not that there's a pecking order. It's everybody's going to get to go, and we're going to try to follow the 3-2 done, where it shouldn't last longer than 3 rounds. Everybody's going to get to do 2 things around when it's their turn, and we're going to try and wrap it faster than we are slower. I took the liberty of making up Dr. Burton Richards. We'll put him in there. And
I don't know if this, just for your information, Beckett's gonna try to do a social thing.
Okay.
I don't know if we want that out of the way.
I'm
or if we
cool
want
with
it
you
to be
doing that.
part of-
You can do that before, and it may inform an initiative roll if that's where it goes afterwards. But I'll let you do that first. But tell me what it is while I add people to the combat tracker for no reason.
Perfect. Yeah, it's going to be, Beckett is going to lie their ass off and completely pivot and be like, these fools have it out for you, Luca, and get closer and closer.
That's actually
We
pretty
must
good.
do something. We must do something about this. And then look out at the people and just completely take Luca's side. And be like,
Even
you who have eyes on the prince in this way, and getting closer and closer. You are out of bounds. This is not your place. Know your place.
I'm gonna.
And if you want initiative to happen, you totally can. But as long as everybody's about to burst anyway, I'm just gonna pull the sword out of myself.
Yeah. I'm gonna need some subterfuge from you. Now you can let that be charisma, composure, or manipulation plus subterfuge because they all apply here.
Yeah, we're gonna do manipulate, and all of Beckett's social roles. I wasn't adding awe.
Yeah, be sure.
Is an ability that Beckett has. So I add the presence rating to any skill roll involving persuasion or performance.
And your presence is what? 2?
Where the fuck is that? Wait, I literally don't know where that is on the character sheet.
Oh,
Other.
it's under other.
No, I have to. Okay.
Yeah, you got a
2.
presence of 2. Okay, so yeah, you can click the little +2 mod down in the lower left,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
when you go to do the roll, right
No,
click
I
twice.
did that.
Okay.
Okay. And then I've got manipulation in there, and then I'm gonna do subterfuge,
Yes,
which is not
because this is a
the
very
best,
important
but I have that
lie.
extra shit. Oh yeah. Yeah. I wish I could. I can't do persuasion. Wish I could do persuasion. There's no way to do persuasion and subterfuge though, so I'm screwed.
Oh my goodness. A crit, 7 successes.
And Oscar.
7 successes on 7 dice, because one of them was a crit success, and it was your hunger die that drove that crit success. So what you just said, and you basically moving onto that shoulder, gave the prince the confidence to draw the rapier as you draw the sword from yourself, and the
Mhm.
prince is about to enter into this combat, thinking that it's the two of you, two Toreadors, versus whichever members of the displeased Primogen wish to
How poetic,
approach.
right?
And
Mhm.
it's you have
And one of
completely
them's a yeah,
and
and
you've
one of them's a
completely
double crosser.
yep,
Yeah,
you've
that's so
completely
perfect.
convinced the prince.
Yep. And Beckett's got one hand on Luca's shoulder and just is I'm right for the neck. Just Beckett's not even good at this. Don't give a shit. Backed up by a lot of other people, but that's the move. Just gonna go for it.
It's perfect.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, Aloysius, I'm gonna say, is standing kind of next to Barbara after dropping back and
Yeah.
mildly flirting with the gangrel. Because I mean,
Yeah.
not a bad play.
And I'm certain that Beckett at during this whole process at some point gave Aloysius a look, gave Lobo a look. Like
So for initiative, like it's not so much you don't have to roll for it. There's a few ways of going about this, and we talked through this when I ran a vampire campaign 5th edition a couple years ago. With this, I'll say that I'll let you add any of your mental stats to awareness or insight. Okay, and um, the target number is 2. So the number of successes you have, the margin, if you go over that, even better. And that will be determining kind of the order as you read the play. And Beckett, give yourself just 2 more dice on this as well. So the even if the prince goes first, the prince isn't going to become aware of your play, of your secret deception.
I didn't mean to roll a bunch. I just slipped on the thing. I'm sorry.
it's all good. Or I think I did that right. I added 2 and I did wits and insight.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Do I get my Auspex +2 bump on this or no?
Not on this, no.
Okay. Can't blame me for
Yeah,
asking.
sorry, newbie. Can you explain to me again what I need to roll here?
So it's going to be your choice of mental stats.
Okay.
Plus either insight or awareness.
Okay.
And wits plus alertness was the old way of doing it in older editions of this. Wits plus awareness can be that, but it doesn't even have to be something you roll for. But in this situation, with this many players on the field, literally, I figure it's a good way to do it. Nice. Oh, wow. I'm starting to get the feeling this won't go well for the prince.
Ooh.
Wah wah.
I think with Jane's bear success there, he actually started to buy Beckett's performance and was like, "Mother,
Oh, that's fabulous.
That's actually
That's so yeah. Because
Such a
Jane
good
don't really trust
justification
anyone
for it.
anyway.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
exactly."
Yeah.
But then right until the end when she sees how he positioned himself and he's like, "Wait a minute, he's not gonna cut us."
Okay. Nice. Just give me a moment to take care of all the vampire toys I have. Gavin is all about wits. It's not supposed to be wits plus wits. It's supposed to be wits plus awareness. So hang on, Gavin. Slow your roll. You're trying. You're doing your best. Okay. Lobo. Well, Lobo is. You basically look at Lobo and look around, look at Lobo, Teddy, and when you look at Lobo the last time, you notice Lobo's beard is bigger because his jaws have extended and his fangs are fully out. I mean, wouldn't yours be? Oh. Okay. Mona. I can't even remember what Mona's calculations are. Let's see. So Mona is witty. And Mona is, she's not as charming, but she is good at reading people. Her insight's pretty high. This is how you stall for time as you build a character, because you realize, whoops, forgot somebody's stats. All right. Cool. They're not going to outshine you guys. That's actually awesome. But Luca hasn't rolled yet. And Luca, the sense of betrayal he's going to feel, you're going to give him such narcissistic damage. It's going to be fucking awesome.
28 narcissist damage.
Absolutely. He's going to roll.
I think we call that psychic damage.
Yeah,
that's fair. What's that awareness looking like? Oh, it looks like that potion you drank wore off, buddy. Oh. All right. What do you know? I'm going to say that Beckett has fallen into a comfortable position, drawing the sword from yourself. And yeah, you're actually going to lead us off.
Yeah, it's just one motion out of Beckett's gut into Luca's neck. That's the goal here.
So out of your innards, so it's Aishitsu? Okay, I got nothing. Now I'm looking for puns.
Good try. Good try.
I actually got that one. Nicely done.
Not all my puns are broken.
Oh no.
I don't have the alcohol in my house right now to deal with this level of pun.
I finished my rye.
This is gonna be rough because Beckett is terrible at all of this, but the point is to be the first one.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take +2 dice for really favorable circumstances because he's not gonna see it coming.
Okay.
You've fallen, he allowed you to get into a vulnerable. You're on his flank.
You can also rouse and spend blood to give you a bonus to a physical roll too.
Yeah. You.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I am doing that right now.
Okay.
So I just click rouse check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you did it without getting hungrier. So give yourself
another one. Give myself 2. Okay.
Fucking cold blooded, man. Beckett.
And then
cold.
what is? Yeah, the physical is gonna be, what would it be? Brawl? I've got larceny. I've got survival.
Melee.
None of that.
Melee for
Where
swords.
is that? Oh, there it is. Of course, I don't have anything in it. All right, here we go. Wait. Oh, I need to do it again. It took off all the shit I added.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so dexterity +2 +1. And then
A game of chess is like a sword fight.
There it is.
Okay. I like that your hunger dice are what's showing up large too. Like, hey. So 2, that's just a full on attack. You've hit, so you definitely carved up the side of him, it's it's not going to be aggravated damage. It's not a magical sword. It's not blessed. It's not silver or whatever he might be vulnerable to or anything like that. But it's definitely enough to give him some damage. He didn't see it coming, so he can't block it. He really didn't see it coming in any way.
It's a social play. All that
Yeah.
matters is that gets the first one to hit. And then Beck gets the fuck out of there.
No, this is actually perfect. All right, so Prince Luca has taken freaking 2 of damage. Oh my god. So you have cut into him, and sure enough, it's a red welt line that leaks blood in 3 places, and you hear it sing off of Luca's ribs. You're not going to bleed to death from it, you know what I'm saying? But it's damage. What else you doing? Because everybody gets to do 2 things.
I think Beckett is aware that Luca is going to be much better in a fight than Beckett is.
Yeah.
So Beckett's definitely backing away because other people are encroaching anyway. So backing away quickly, but also, right in the eyes, and then, done. And I want this to be like an intimidation check or something, as literally as I am running away, backing away, like just he's stunned for a second and Beckett is out of there, and like
I'm gonna say at this point
it's over, and I'm trying to stun him and use awe and so forth to see if I can like get some sort of effect out of it.
Manipulation plus intimidation.
Okay.
And you stand a chance of doing willpower damage. So actual social combat is a thing, and you can burn him in multiple ways. Oh my god, that's a lot of dice. Okay.
Well, I have the +2 from awe, but only 3.
This he gets to try to resist though, because now he knows of the betrayal.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
pretty good. All right.
I had a pretty terrible roll considering how many dice were in the game, but you know.
I'll send you to hell first.
Been there.
Tell him I said hi. All right. So you backed away. You basically got out of the way after that. He whips around. It looks like he's about to say something pithy, when all of a sudden, Beckett, you are aware of what appears to be a middle-aged mortal in a lab coat and bunny slippers, diving for you while grabbing the corners of their lab coat.
Richards is a loyalist.
And not grabbing a weapon, but grabbing the edges of their loincloth. And as they go airborne jumping at you, you see swirls of darkness begin to swim out from it. Let's see if he pulls this off. Gotta land it just right.
And it is so hard to tell anyone's motivations in this game.
Or even what
Dr.
this
Burns is a boomer.
They're on, yeah.
Dr. Barton's a boomer. I shouldn't be surprised. Old fart, he don't want anything to change.
Well, he might not be attacking
Don't
you.
count him out. Don't count him out
Fine.
yet.
I counted him out the night he bit me.
Good
He's
point.
earning back the trust ever since.
Actually,
Barb
we should count all of us out.
Yeah. Barb don't trust him.
Except for Barb.
Oh, so wow! Did his dice show up and say
Fucking hell! Why
I'm,
can't I roll
I'm getting
anything?
away with this. So as he envelops you in the darkness, he just becomes this dark ball and collides into you with a tackle that tumbles you, and the two of you appear on the other side of the goal line outside the
Oh.
field. He just shadow stepped you out of there.
Right.
Sorry, you don't look to be very good with that sword.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
guy, fuck me. It's hard to tell what anybody's side anyone is on in this.
And it's Barb's turn.
So what did Barb saw Dr. Richards jump in and bamf away?
You've seen
With
everything,
Beckett.
yeah.
Did I see them reappear
Yes.
elsewhere, or did I just okay? Because she's already on the fence with the good doctor anyway, so unless she sees that they're okay, she's probably gonna suspect the worst.
The moon has come out from behind the clouds to bear gibbous witness to these events.
Okay. Well, now what to do? Barb is a youngin' and a Malkavian, so not really a good physical attack character. I have no idea. Party, please help me. Do you have any thoughts? Otherwise, I might just jump for his throat.
I mean,
Really?
if you want to ride your first instinct, go for it. Well, let's see what Barb
Well,
does. But,
yeah,
I
except
mean,
I'm
you
trying to
tell her
think like she's
there's no harm in running and hiding as well. I mean,
Yeah.
if this is
Or
too
would
much
Barb
for Barb,
look at what other people around her are
no,
doing
I think Barb is
and
looking
pick
at the
something
social
weirder?
cues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Barbara,
Maybe-
she's not super the confrontational, so I don't really see
Maybe
it.
there's a way you could like just try to distract him so that other people who are more violently
More, yeah, right,
you
right.
know, ready to rock could maybe
Absolutely.
I mean maybe you could try to fuck with them in some way.
You could use your auspex to see if what if everybody's wrong? What if he didn't?
diabolarize.
Yeah.
Ursula.
And in which case this is a coup, and it's
Sure.
not necessarily
Okay.
justified.
No,
I'm just
how
saying.
do I do? No,
Oh,
that's yeah. How do I do that?
You could do that with intelligence plus awareness and add +2 for your auspex.
Intelligence plus awareness +2. Let's see what she says.
So
Yes.
inside, like, you look around trying to figure out what to do, and in the moonlight with no mortals around and everyone here animated by the blood, you look at the blood and you see the 4 pillars, the watchtowers of the Tremere that have created some sort of ward of red around the soccer field. You can see it zigzagging. It can't be crossed by the wrong people. You're not the wrong people. You look at Jane's blood and you see it angry, and auras just crackling, eager to bite, to rip, to tear, to burn. And Mona's is the same aura, but a little more reserved and not necessarily like, wait, let's settle down. And Gavin, looking a lot closer to Jane in both age and temperament. Gavin is digging in the balls of his feet to sprint right at the prince. Look over and see Lobo, who's got a much different aura. It's almost feathered through with green and plugged into the wild and turning into wisps of smoke that take the form of bats and wolves. And you've got the sight. This is what the doctor was trying to tell you. He's been a lousy sire, but maybe you've been judging him by the standards of the living. And as you cast your gaze around, you see the prince, and inside the prince's blood, which at first, sure, there's a fuchsia hue to it, similar to Beckett, but inside, looming over it, is this ravenous, dark stain. The prince has killed your kind. The prince has killed other vampires, drank their heart's blood. Maybe not just Ursula. Maybe Ursula was just the latest. Is there anything else you want to know? Gavin's armed, has a pistol, just a pistol. Probably won't even draw it. It's not the tool for the job.
I mean, can I tell if he has? Can I confirm that that's, or do I have some way of confirming that's Ursula's presence in there? Do I have some way of sensing or seeing if there is more than one other captive presence in there with him, or I can sense that there is a captive?
You sense that there's a captive presence. It's almost like when you look at family photos of people you know, but you don't recognize everybody in the family, but you see the resemblance. You're like, oh, you do kind of look like your uncle. It's like that in the blood. In that,
right.
You see,
so I can see like, she's got whoever that is. That's got Lobos.
He definitely ate a gangrel.
Yeah,
that fits the accusations.
and then Barbara announces that to the gathered crowd of kindred,
and allowed Abruzia to die at sun up on the break wall.
Do I see or sense that? I know we had the cutscene.
No, you don't. But it's all will be like y'all are gonna figure that out pretty quick here, because Gavin knows, and yeah. So that's one thing you've done, but you were able to plug into the site and actually use your Auspex not only successfully, but like super successfully.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So I stand up and use my fabulous performance public speaking skill to announce to the assembled kindred that I have the site and I can see that the prince has consumed another, that I don't know this vampire. I did not know them, but this was a gangrel before they were destroyed by the prince.
This isn't the thesis defense I thought I was gonna have, but this is the best I can do.
And then
You're muted,
probably
Tom.
backs out of the way. Oh,
So you saw and you revealed to everyone else.
yes.
Fantastic. All right. Gavin, he's got a little more distance to cover. I was going to say, yeah, and you get a little hungrier using it. You saw so much blood, you kind of want some. Maybe not as much as the
I
princess
was trying to move my character sheet.
No, that's perfect, because you used your Auspex that way. That's
I'm all fired up. Sure.
Yep.
Go with that. I like
Gavin uses one of his actions to basically cross the distance and sort of stops, seeing that the prince has this sword. It's not that he's fearing the damage of being cut by it, but a well-placed shot could absolutely stake somebody. And no doubt the prince, being a fencer and a prince with some enemies, knows that as well. So Gavin reaches for the small of his back, pulls out his Beretta, and is going to shoot at the prince. Is it the right play? Probably not. Gavin's not smart. He's brave and loyal.
Hey, you take the play you got.
Doing what he can. Not even particularly good at shooting. But the prince isn't in a dodging mood. And the prince takes more damage and actually staggers back from it. At 2, Gavin. And it's the prince's turn. The prince makes a gesture like somebody taking a deep breath and says, "Didn't know of the final act was betrayal. Attempts to make rouse check. And gets hungrier in doing so. But they drop the sword for free and begin to transform into Osprey. So they are turning into a bird. That's going to take them their whole turn. If they get to go again, they're going to fly away. But anybody wishing to stop them while they're in bird form still has a chance.
You're gonna make us
Please tell
bash
me
this
Jane is
bird to
next.
death.
It's not really a bird.
I'm just
I heard
having
the
this
sound. That's
horrible
got to be
vision.
me.
What you got, Jane?
Is Jane up here? Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Jane's been spoiling for a fight since episode 1. She yells out, "Avast, you fucking twat!" And she throws her
Shade.
her big gulp full of blood at the prince. First move, tries to peg him with it.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
to do damage, just because he fucking sucks and it makes him look more like an idiot.
Sure. Dexterity plus the most appropriate. Whatever you got.
Let's see here.
Athletics, maybe?
That'd work.
Dex plus. Yeah, I ain't got much on that. That's just, the.
Go ahead and if you want to make a rouse check first, you can get your potence involved.
Oh, yeah,
so if
yeah,
you do
yeah.
hit him, you can
Let's try
crack
that.
his dome. Big gulp. Oh my god. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. You did it without getting hungrier. Let's see what happens.
Kind of hoping to get hungrier. So that adds a dice to it? 1 die?
Yeah,
Okay.
it adds your potence to it, but you got potence of 1, right?
Potence of 2.
2 die. If you take the prince out with a big gulp, oh. Uh-oh.
That 2 or 3 successes. My screen froze up.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's thinking.
There
There
it is.
goes.
2. 2 successes.
Okay. So,
So, I mean, that's probably not damage, but it might be distracting.
It'll be embarrassing.
as his face is retracting into a beak, he says, "The blood of the dead? Tacky." But it's more damage.
And 100%, she then rushes him and does whatever she can to fuck him up. Looking a little bit askance at her cousin, who decided to pull a gun instead of going fisticuffs.
That's
So how does this stuff work?
There is the
Potence
sword.
powers.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say that we'll let it ride for the scene since you've roused your blood and gotten your supernatural strength. If you want to tackle the prince, you can make a brawl check, strength, dex, but make sure to add the potence as well, because you're trying to basically keep him from flying away as he transforms.
Yeah,
into
no,
a
that's
bird.
the point.
Okay.
That's the point.
Absolutely.
She sees him going and she's like, "Fuck no, he is not getting out of here." So let's see. That will probably be dex plus. Oh yeah, no, she's not super physical, but that's all right. The potence helps. We'll just go brawl because it seems story-wise to be correct. They are the same. Fuck.
Ooh. So you go to do it, and he fully assumes the form, and you dive under where he was as he flaps his wings and rises above you, and you basically eat turf.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a straight up failure. I don't even get a hand on him or
Bestial
anything.
failure. It's a bad failure. So
It's bad.
You jumped more angry than skillful.
Okay. Well, that's that.
Lobo tumbles in and attempts to grab the sword. see if he does. Lobo. We're talking about strength. Actually, no. We're talking about dex plus athletics. And not very good. And sort of tumbles it a little bit closer to y'all. Like he was trying to tumble and throw the sword to one of you. But he gets the sword closer to you, but he doesn't actually connect. Damn claws. Mona goes, "Oh, honey." Pulls out a can of Aquanet and flicks the cigarette butt and tries to burn the prince. We're gonna call that. We're gonna use let's say, I almost want to say Dex plus Science. Yeah, let's go with Dex plus Science, but we're gonna use Lobo's stats because it's the same. There we go. Gout of flame issues over, causing the bird to go a little lower to ground, and it is
Dice jail.
Teddy's turn.
Is he a man-sized bird or just a bird?
Currently kind of larger than a bird-sized bird, but not quite a man-sized bird, shrinking
Okay.
into the form. Can't fly
I'm
until they're
gonna
fully in it, so.
I'm gonna grab him.
Okay.
I'm going to rouse my blood to get a bonus to this, strength bonus.
Very nice. What you got? What you doing?
Did it roll it?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, maybe I didn't roll it in the tray well enough. Oh,
Just sharing a map, don't worry. Sharing an image.
oh, I didn't mean to roll that one. Sorry, I'm having a rough time over here with these little buttons.
Try strength plus brawl, I think was what you said.
Yeah, strength brawl. There we go.
Okay.
Jesus.
So you tackle the bird.
And then I'm gonna full off and since I have him grappled, I don't actually have to do a cold shot to bite him, right?
Right. You can just make a bite attack.
Okay, so I'm gonna do, and that's strength brawl as well.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Oh boy.
Oops.
I hope you roll like that again, because that's going to give him how to give a prince a really hard time. Oh my god. All right,
Very
so
much.
he had taken
Fucking
5
Teddy for the win.
points of subdual damage, and the bite and claws of other supernatural creatures are aggravated damage. And he wasn't making any attempt to dodge. And it is to his surprise, to his chagrin, and to his doom. You grab the bird and go tumbling into a roiling ball of feathers and claws. You grab a wing, and at first you thought, I'm going to bite at the wing joint so he can't fly away, but some of that success came from your hunger, and you just bite the hawk's head, and poof, he rolls forward, and his head comes down and stares in disbelief. The city of Buffalo has a new prince. And that is where we're going to stop Series 1.
Oh my god.
I'm not saying who the prince is. Could be you, Teddy. Could be somebody else. It'll be decided when we do Series 2. And I'm thinking maybe spooky season next year sounds like a good place to play some
Spooky
vampire again.
season.
All right.
That
We've
seems perfect.
I gotta
Roger
say,
that.
I gotta say some thanks. Gotta say some thanks to Incompetech and Kevin McLeod, Alexander Nakarada, for the awesome music. Gonna go ahead and drop the attributions in Yon chat. Get this over here. The Prince is having a real rough night. That is for dang sure. Woo. Go ahead and drop that. And we're going to say thank you to this awesome cast. Thank you for everybody who joined us in this. Got some cool announcements coming up. So 2 weeks from tonight, August 9th, Legends of the Old Kingdoms Season 2 kicks off with these four here, my awesome cast, and we're adding a new cast member. We're going to talk about that after this privately, and we're going to try to keep this Wednesday night time slot going. So that campaign's going to be 10 sessions, and we're going to do a season 3 sometime in 2024. That's going to be 10 sessions, and we'll probably finish our story because that'll land everybody around what we used to call in the old days name level. The Sunday, I think, is when we're doing the Baldur's Gate stream launch. Papa Kev, Malinamadan, and myself. We're looking to have somebody else for that, so we're going to actually stream the launch of Baldur's Gate, make up characters, and play that, and be silly with that. I'm super excited about that. It's going to be fun. It's a game I pre-ordered a long time ago, forgot that I had, and when everybody was talking about it, I'm like, wait, I got that. Oh my goodness. That's finally coming out. It's finally done. So we're going to make up a party and go traipsing through that. That should be fun and comedic. We're going to keep that Wednesday time slot going, as I said. So after Legends of the Old Kingdoms finishes up, we're going to start something new, and we're going to do what I call Tunnel Through the Holidays. If you look at where the Wednesdays are in November and December, we're going to skip the holidays, and we're going to try to put something together for you there. It's going to be a little different. We'll share more information on our Discord and on Twitter and wherever else you may find us by that point. Next Saturday night, we got the Outlaws of Alkenstar Pathfinder 2nd Edition game continuing. Papa Kev's absolutely killing it as a GM. Really, really fun story. Fun cast. 3 dwarves and an investigator stumble into all sorts of adventures. So come check us out then. Thank you, everybody. I did mention our Discord. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to that in the chat as well. If you're not already on there, get in there. What are you waiting for? We're a bunch of nerds. We have some fun. Mostly it's memes and silliness, but it's who wants to be the prince of the Queen City? Thank you, everybody, for playing, and thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you Sunday and next week and next Saturday. Stay tuned. Love to have you. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Bye, y'all.